Hello everyone, we are here once again. Today we are going to learn how to get the average volume of acid used from your titration. So today we are going to learn how to tabulate your reading, how to present your table very well, how to calculate the average titer value. So after titration, you are meant to get your values. You have to record your reading, record the values you got from the titration, and then remember, is that value that determines every other calculation you are solving. So you must not fail the titration table. So you have to present your titration table very well, because that titration table carries a lot of mark and you must not fail it. So to tabulate your reading, first of all, this is what I get. First of all, you have what? Burette reading, final reading, initial, then you now have the volume of acid or difference. Then don't forget the units. Then after that, you have rough. You have your rough. You have the first titer. Second titer, and also your third titer. So you have, and then this table is wrong. At this point, this table is wrong. You know what's the problem? There is no unit. So you must have to put units to it. So it's in cubic centimeter. So the units, this cubic centimeter is covering everything here, and then the same with other ones. Okay, then first of all, you must know the range, what you are supposed to get. I've already calculated the theoretical value and gotten the volume of acid from my previous video. If you are coming across my video for the first time, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to my channel. Go and watch all those videos I posted there. They're very, very important. Don't miss any of them. They are all important. So I've calculated the theoretical value and gotten the volume of acid. From my calculation, this is what I got, 12.14 centimeter cube. So if you are doing your titration, the titration volume must fall around it. It must not be this, but it should be around it. If you are doing your titration, your value should be 12, 13, 11. You should be within those numbers. Do you understand? It should not be far from there. It should be around it. Anyone you are picking, then make sure you get a concordant value. I will explain the meaning of concordant values. Okay, then considering this one, 12.14. That 12.14 is talking about the average titer value. So if I pick it up, I'm expected to have my values 12.10, 12.20, 12.30, 11.90. I want to state something very, very important. Any value you are choosing within that range, it must be plus or minus 0.2. plus or minus 0.2. What I mean is this: if you get your first value to be 12.20, then other ones, they should be around each other. It should not be far from there. Are you getting it? Okay, so since I have my 12.14, this is what I'm going to get. I will take 12.10, 12.20, and then 12.10 again. That is what I'm going to take. Now listen. This initial, the initial is where you write what you are doing, where you state what you are doing. Now look at this. This is my burette. This is my burette. If I'm titrating, when I fill this burette with acid to here, up here, that means I'm starting from 0.00. Then I'll record my initial as what? 0.00. If I fill my burette to up here, then I'm supposed to record this as 0.00. That means the initial is 0.00 because I started from 0. Then I will not titrate. On titration, my next value is 12.20. This is 0, 12.20. I will record it. Then this means that as I was titrating, the color changed at 12.20. I recorded it. Then the next thing I will do is either I fill the burette back again to that 0, or I decide to continue from there. I may decide to fill it up back to 0, or I may decide to continue from there. At this point, I don't want to fill it up to 0. So what I will do is that 12.20 will be my initial. You know why? Because I did not fill it up. The acid is at that 12.20 position, and I will continue titrating from there. As I'm titrating, then the color now change again as 24.30. The color change at 24.30. 24.30. So at this point now, 12.20 minus 0.00 is 12.20. 24.30 minus 12.20 will give me what? 12.10. Are we following? Now the acid is at 1224.30. At this point, I may decide to fill it up to 0 again. So as I'm filling it up, my initial will be 0.00. 0.00. At 0.0 because I filled it up again as 0.00. Then I decided to titrate again. As I'm titrating, the color change at 12.10. 12.10. The color change at what? 12.10. I will record it. Then at this point, the acid is at the position of 12.10. I will decide to continue from there. I don't want to fill it back again. But if you like, you can still fill it back to that point. So I will not fill it back. So the next one, my initial is at 12.10, and then I will decide to titrate again. In my titration, as I'm titrating from that 12.10, the color decides to change as 24.20. Okay, let me make it 24.30. 24.30. At 24.30. So this is what I finally got. At this point, this one is where you write the difference. The difference, you use the final value to subtract the initial value in order to get the volume of acid. And it's that volume of acid that we are going to use to get your average Titre value. So at this point, 12.10 minus 0.00 is what? 12.10. The other one, 24.30 minus 12.10 will give us what? 12.20. Now, I will take my first Titre value, my second Titre value, and my third Titre value to get the average Titre value. So to get the average Titre value, average Titre value is equal to first Titre plus second Titre plus third Titre all divided by 3. All divided by 3. From the titration, our first Titre is what? 12.10 plus, okay, don't forget the units. 12.10 centimeter cube plus 12.10 centimeter cube plus 12.20 centimeter cube all over 3. Please use your calculator. I got 36.40 all divided by 3. I got 12.13. So my volume of acid, don't forget the units. Average volume of acid is equal to 12.13 centimeter cube. So this is the average Titre value. I want you to take note of something very important. Your value should always be in 2 decimal places. It must be in 2 decimal places. If it's not in 2 decimal places, then they will deduct your mark. And again, make sure that you put your units. Don't miss the units. Don't miss it up. Don't miss the units. You must not miss that unit. Then the third one, you must get concordant values. That is the value that are within plus or minus 0.20. Plus or minus 0.20. This is what I mean. Since I have 12.10 here, if I decide to get 12.90, say, okay, if I have 12.10, then in the next value, I decide to get 12.90. This is wrong. Are you getting it? They are not, because it's very far. 1 is very far from 9. But if your value is 12.60, let's assume that do your titration and your body is 12.60, you are expected to get either 12.50. You can still get up 12.60, 12.50, 12.40, 12.70, 12.80. Any other thing out of that, you have failed it, and I don't want you to fail it. I don't want you to fail it. So please be careful while tabulating your titration table. Be very, very careful when tabulating your reading. Don't make mistake. Remember, that question you are going to solve depends on your average volume of acid. So at this point, this average volume of acid is the VA, and we are using the VA to solve other questions. Even aside solving other questions, this table alone, you are getting not less than 8 marks from this table alone. Not less than. I think you can up to 12 marks from this table alone. So you must not fail it. See you in my next video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Share this video so that other students will benefit from it. Like, comment, share. Please, that like is very important, so that I will know that students are actually benefiting from it. See you in my next video. We are going to solve calculation questions that come out from titration experiments. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you. Bye.